Okay, folks, now it's time for my favourite part of the show, show and tell with Albert. Hello, mate.
Hi, Will. How are you?
I'm great. I also like the fact that we have clearly progressed the tech of the show along, and you're now wearing a lav mic, so I don't have to
Let's get in.
do that anymore. So that is all good. Now, today, you are going to take us through the theory
Yep.
behind turbo
Yep.
and the MGU-H.
Yes, right. You're right.
Explain away, my
And
friend.
we have to start from the beginning. And we have to learn a word that is difficult to me to read. Maybe you can help me.
Stoichiometric.
Stoichiometric. Stoichiometric, it means that the correct rate between the air and the fuel that we have in the engine to have a perfect combustion must be 14.7 grams or kilos of air and 1 gram or kilo of fuel. Over that, lower than that, the combustion is not perfect. So we need that rate to keep that rate to have a good combustion in the engine.
Okay.
So I prepared something. This is the air. It's
Okay, so the green is air.
Yeah, and this is fuel.
Okay.
Green. Okay. It's not the right rate because the density of the air is much lower than the fuel, but I thought it was good to say that. This is like a cylinder of a power unit. It's not exactly the same volume, but it's similar to it. So in a, let's say, a traditional aspired engine, V8 engine, atmospheric engine, the only thing that is pulling and pushing the air and the fuel inside the cylinder is the proper aspiration, the vacuum, the low pressure created by the piston moving inside the cylinder. So if we put here our fantastic vacuum,
We have to put
everything
our
is flowing,
glasses on for this.
it's going to be difficult
Okay.
to create a vacuum strong enough to have
All
more
15.
fuel and more air. So we want inside more fuel and more air. How we can do that? How we can create, because the aspiration is not big enough. What we can do? We can take something to put more on it.
Okay.
We need something to put more air inside, more fuel, so we have a stronger combustion, we have a stronger explosion, and we have more power and a smaller engine. What I'm doing here? I'm pushing. We need something to push air inside in an engine to get more power.
Okay.
So what we can do?
The turbo.
Turbocharger. Turbocharger is a very simple part of the power units that is made of two parts. And this is what we have inside here. We have two, how you call that?
Flywheels.
Flywheels. Okay, that's good. We have the exhaust one that is taking the air that is coming out from the engine, is pushing in this wheel. And on the other side, we have the compressor one, the compressor wheel, that is compressing the air. You want to try how it's going? This is the exhaust side,
Okay.
and this is the compressor, the air intake one, the clear air that is going in together with the fuel. So if we blow, this is a blower. If we blow air inside the turbo, we will make
Everything spin.
this wheel spin. And you see, we will put a lot of pressure air inside the engine, and then as we have more air inside the engine, we can put more fuel, we can have a stronger explosion, we have a better combustion, and at the end of the day we can have more power.
Okay.
That's a turbo. And then we go a step forward with that, because Formula One wants to do more powerful engines and wants to do more efficient engines. And then they say, okay, let's go for it, and we will create, and we put an electrical motor inside next to the turbo for two reasons. The first one is to get rid of the lack of the turbo. The turbo,
Okay.
when the driver is lifting, we are not allowed to do the bang bang. You remember
Yep.
the bang bang?
Yeah.
So everything is slowing down, and when the driver push the throttle again, it requires a lot of power that it takes time to spin again quickly. So we can put energy on this turbo, and we can help it to spin as quick as possible. And at the same time, we can use this electrical motor in another way around. We can use it to create electricity.
Okay.
If we're going on the other way around, we can use this electrical motor to create energy and to fill the battery, to fit also the MGK, and to increase the efficiency of the power unit. What did happen when this set of regulations was done by FIA? Everyone, Ferrari, Honda, and Renault, used this configuration to have the turbo and the MGUH turbo,
Have them set up next to one another.
Yes, and connected to the turbo, this MGUH at the back of the car, no problem. But what Mercedes did, because we have seen that the bolts, what they were putting into the cylinder, we were getting red when we were putting more pressure because it hits. When we compress a gas, it hits. Okay, so what Mercedes said is, okay, I'm gonna take this wheel, you can pull off it, yeah, and we'll put it on the other end of the engine, at the front of the engine.
Okay.
So that is what is called a split engine, and which is the main advantage of the split turbo.
Tell me.
We had hot air with the turbo, with exhaust gases, everything is really hot, 1,000 degrees here. And we don't want to put that temperature to the air intake, to the compressor, because then we need to cool it down. So very easy, we split it. We put an axle all around the engine, from the back to the front, and we put the compressor at the front.
Amazing.
And it does the same thing.
Oh, wow.
It turns around here. So this is what is being done, and what is being called a split turbo.
And then in time,
Yeah,
these guys.
yes. This year, Renault engine is with a split turbo. Honda did it in 2017, and there is only one engine manufacturer that is still keeping the turbo together at the back of the car. That is
And why?
Ferrari.
Why have they gone against the grain of what the others have done?
This one have advantages. You split the temperature, and you see this thing is closer to the radiators,
Yeah.
because you are on the front of the car. In this one, you may have a little bit the engine a little bit forward, so the weight distribution is a little bit easier. It's very difficult to set this axle all around the engine. You can
Sure.
hear a lot of problems because this is turning 125,000 RPM.
Wow.
So you remember Honda had a lot of problems with
Yes,
the MGUH.
yes.
It was so difficult for them to set an axle all around the engine from the front to the rear that it could hold that level of RPM.
Hey, fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. Albert, thank you so much.
Thank
man.
you.
I daren't ask what next.
Barcelona, one of the topics
Don't.
that is quite been mentioned a lot this year.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
not spoil the surprise.
No.
We'll wait for then.
We
Thank
will
you
go
so
to the
much.
rear of the car anyway, I'll tell you.
Lovely stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Albert. Absolutely incredible stuff. Wonderful from Albert, as always.